Okay, so I'm going to see if anybody shows up. It's not even 2:15, but I figured, well, I got the rest of the day free, so hop aboard a live stream, see if anybody wants to chat it up. Because I was going through the list of videos I need to do between now and next Wednesday, and like I said, I'm looking at my list right now. Hang on. Only got about 10 videos, give or take. Most of them, I know they're going to be like YouTube shorts. So, yeah, there's not going to be that many I need to do. So, because Beyond the Gates, I think they got a special episode Monday. It's kind of like a behind the scenes cast interview thing, which is pretty cool. I'm down for that. So what I got today and tomorrow, Beyond the Gates, my sister's review, and that's about it. I'm probably going to slowly get back into the eBay grind in the coming week because I went to the dentist. Everything went well. My insurance covered everything, thank God. So I didn't have to pay a cent. No cavities, clean teeth, all clean teeth. Thanks to those tuning in. Feel free to hit the thumbs up button. You know, like I said, I went to the dentist. I didn't have to pay anything, but I did buy some light groceries. So if you want to help the brother out, Cash App, PayPal, Zelle, top comment, or super chat, whatever you want to do. But okay, let's get to these comments. It's pretty good. I just want the storyline for season 10 to make sense. Even though I am conflicted about certain decisions already, I agree. If I think in it, season 10 doesn't really have a high bar to cross as far as I'm concerned. Hey, new Sistas is boring. I'm going to be honest with you, though. This is just my personal opinion. I'd rather have boring than inconsistent nonsense. I know that sounds like a weird trade-off, but I'd rather have a story that's kind of dull, but at least it makes sense. Andy's mom needs to get Cheyenne her own place. I agree. I so far Cheyenne is not a popular character. I'm gauging it from the comments on my content and the tweets I see. Now there are those who, like myself, find her attractive, but if we're being real here, I get why she's divisive. I know that the synopsis says that, you know, her layers will peel back as the season goes on, but it just seems like an odd time to add like a bratty, self-destructive character to the fold when Andy's going through so much in her life right now. I mean, it's like, are they trading off Andy having a random love interest versus, hey, here's this sister who's going to shake things up? And it's like I said time and time again, I'm not against Cheyenne as a character. I'm against the way she is being introduced into the show. It's just way too soon. And you know what? I think Courtney's doing what he did on Zatima. I love how I'm trying to think of her name. I can't I think Lindsay is the actress's name, but she plays Leslie, you know, Fatima's crazed ex-best friend who's a stalker. She worked in season 3, but the way Courtney wrote the story for season 4, Leslie feels like a fish out of water. It's like Leslie brings a chaotic danger to the show that honestly I don't think is needed, because the team of season 4 did a great job focusing on Zach and Fatima trying to navigate, okay, you're going to give birth any day now. How are we going to navigate me being a family man versus a businessman? How are you going to deal with being a mom versus, you know, wanting to pursue different career goals and this, that, and the third? So when you have someone like Leslie, it just doesn't work. Leslie would have worked earlier on, but the way Courtney set up Zatima season 4, the challenges Zach and Fatima are dealing with are far more relatable than a crazed stalker like Leslie. Now, when we flip it over to Sisters, Andy's dealing with so much right now, from her friend leaving to Sabrina being in the accident and her almost dying. And for her mom to be so insensitive as to just toss Cheyenne on Andy in the midst of all this, it makes zero sense. I already don't care for her. Andy's mom was wrong inviting her to stay. Andy should have left her sister in jail. Yep. Her mom is always trying to tell her what to do. She's the one getting her daughter out of jail. I agree. To be honest, before the season 10 premiere, I was ready to let go because of these 4 storylines. That's what I'm saying. Even if season 10 is boring, as long as the story feels cohesive, I'm for it. But I will say currently, the Cheyenne stuff does seem forced. And I agree with a lot of fans that it would have worked better if we would have been introduced to them sooner. But I get it. I guess Ebony and no, I remember. I guess because I don't know. I suppose they were both ready to leave the show, and it is a bit jarring to have to just randomly shift to Cheyenne's introduction. I was thinking the same thing that with Sabrina's absence, he would just up and leave. But I respect the fact that he's staying. I respect that. I thought, oh, hang on. I'm not liking season 10. I may stop watching for a few weeks. That's understandable. Obviously, this is my job, and it's hard for me to have a major or, concrete opinion because we've only had 2 episodes. Tony was out of line. Yeah, that was just a wrong time. Wrong time. You know what? We're done. And then he's getting jealous over the phone. Like, that was not the right time. Yeah, I agree. Madison, there's no need to rush that either, but she might show up. Okay, next week is episode 3, and it's like the same night. So I think we might not move into the next day until like episode 4, maybe 5. Are you feeling the Danny told good and well in my videos? I tell you, I do not care about this Danny and Tony and Green crap. Like, there's so much better they could have done with the writing. But I mean, the season is still early. Maybe they're writing them out. Well, Tony needed to be done with Danny seasons ago. That's what I'm like. Season 8 was when they ruined Danny because I loved Danny from season 7 when she started therapy, but season 8 she was like a total B towards Tony. Let's go ahead and wrap up the Sabrina situation. Keys needs to tell Zach why is she in ATL now. Let's keep the storylines moving. I mean, was Cheyenne with their mom before? Like, I mean, she's like what, 24, 25, give or take. So, like, was she with Valerie in Florida? Was she like a nomad? I mean, she did tell um uh Andy, yeah, I took a shower to wash off my travel dust. So I don't know. Maybe she was just, going abroad or something. I don't know how to explain it. Andy irks me too, but I can't believe in just 2 episodes I have felt more for her as a character than I have in the past like several seasons. What do you think Keys is up to? I think he set Andy's car on fire. No, I don't think he did that. I think he's just trying to get to know his son. But then again, Zach's other family members have left us thinking, okay, like, dude probably has an agenda we don't know about yet. So we'll just have to wait and see. Um, Yeah, Andy irks me, but it's still her house and respect is warranted. I 1,000% agree. Like, Ma, you're the one that failed your younger daughter. I don't think they got the same dad. I could be wrong, but I'm willing to bet that Cheyenne and Andy have different fathers because Andy did say her father passed when she was younger. So that could have been when Cheyenne was just like a baby or in her early years, or she just had a different father. I don't know. I want some really good twist in the story. Yeah, I don't think Keys blew up the car. It wouldn't make sense because Keys showed up before Andy. He was in the house. He was at the grill. So he didn't do it. That would be the craziest plot twist, but I don't believe he did it. No, he didn't do it. No. Yeah, I agree with the Sabrina coma. Like, don't have her in a coma and then like she dies during the mid-season finale. Like that makes no sense whatsoever. I mean, heck, at least with Karen, she was in the hospital what, 3 episodes? Then she was in her bed for several episodes, and then we finally got her up and about. No, I agree. Seeing how Valerie acts, you can see why Andy ran when she was younger. I don't feel anything. I just wish they didn't try to force that crappy romance between her and Vaughn last season. Um, I feel two ways about last night. Like, I didn't like Andy snapping on Vaughn. Like, Andy lies to everyone, but then she acts like if you lie to her, that's the worst thing in the world. But I will say, Vaughn, like with Tony, it just wasn't the right time. But in his defense, it's like Andy doesn't answer my text or phone calls. This is the only time I get to see her. Like, what am I supposed to do? When Tyler was writing, we had a good cliffhanger after every episode. That's the thing. It's like he will give us like a string of crappy episodes, but at the end of the day, those last 13 or 15 to 30 seconds will make you come back for the next one. I'll say this much because remember, we had 3 seasons of this team of writers, and now we got this one season with one person. So it is a bit jarring in terms of the writing style. That's why I said, I can't make heads or tails of how I feel about this season because it's only been 2 episodes. Yeah, I agree. It's like she's busy, but I'm surprised she didn't go to the police station about the car yet. Well, probably because the police are going to check it out. They said they looked to see if there was any signs of foul play, material from an explosive, that kind of thing. So that's probably why it's like she hasn't rushed to the police department yet. I think she was with her mom based on I had a good teacher regarding the cooking. Good point. Good point. Hopefully, Andy stays single. Yeah, there. Look, I've said this time and time again. Between her and Danny, there is no reason for them to date this season. There is a lot better in terms of what they could do with their characters in terms of development. Like Danny, focus on your investment with Pam and the salon and whatnot. Andy, your partner now, deal with your own PTSD and the Dr. Cruz case. There's literally no room for any sort of relationship. I mean, in my opinion, if you want to tell a good story, let's have these characters grow and through some development because right now, like the Danny storyline, I don't know, it's really looking Jonah-ish. Like I feel like they're going to rinse and repeat. I mean, because in the articles, I didn't see Tony's name mentioned in the terms of recurring characters. And I said this about a week ago. I said it's possible Tony might be in the first few episodes and then he'll make his exit. Based on how he's feeling towards Danny now, I don't see him being in the show much longer. I mean, he might pop up with Rich every now and then, but that's it. But I don't like with Rich trying to like push Tony back in Danny's direction. And it just seems way too obvious that Tony might pop up at Danny's because of Rich's insight. And then as a result, he saves Danny from Green and then they get back together or something. I think Rich going to be gone this season. I don't think so. He was listed as one of the returning characters, so I think he really is going to stay around. And like I said, there was that blink and you miss it moment from the trailer where he and Madison are laughing and talking. So Madison might be his new love interest, which no shame because one, he and Sabrina are not together, and two, well, hey, they go for it. I'm sick of them messing with Zach, and Zach is too trusting. I mean, I get that, but considering he didn't have a father figure, It makes sense. I will judge season 10 fully once we get through the finale. Oh yeah, I always do too. Like I'll do a video after we get finished with the first half though. Let Sabrina be gone already. Yeah, and I'm not trying to. Yeah, I agree, and not in a twisted bio way. It's like I don't see the need of having this coma thing looming over the characters' heads, and then all of a sudden, like around episode 8 or episode 10, boom, she's dead. Like, what's the need for that? Yeah, because the juice shop is a location. Why get rid of a location? And in terms of Rich, I mean Tony, he doesn't work at the airport. Danny doesn't work at the airport. So I have no idea when or if we'll ever see it again. The only thing about Danny not being at the airport is that we can at least see her in different outfits now. And Rich's connection to Zach is what tethers him as a valuable character, as far as I'm concerned. I thought since Penelope and Rich randomly slept together. Yeah, I was thinking that too. Like Penelope would get pregnant, but nope, that didn't happen. I certainly thought that was the route they were going. Same thing with Sabrina and Rock. No, but it was crazy when somebody told me that, hey, Sabrina and Karen were not in the season 9 recap. And I'm like, what? So yeah, I went back and rewatched that 90 seconds and they were not seen at all. Like Karen's name was mentioned, but they were not in it whatsoever. I'm like, yo, they just gave him the Mike Wazowski treatment. Like any scene they were going to be in, like they were either cut out or they flipped over to a different scene, and that was it. So I don't know what's going on. Like obviously, last night we got Andy looking through those photos, and it would show all the girls from earlier seasons. Even though some of those photos, I'm like, how in the world did they get that photo? Because that's the episode when Andy's mentioning how Gary was cheating on her with a bunch of other women, and I'm like, what? Do you think yeah, I'm not talking about physical appearances like that, so not my prerogative. Now I'll talk about somebody if I think they look good, but that's it. Oh yeah, Beyond the Gates is on right now. I'll watch that later. Mm-hmm. I don't like the begging Danny. Yet I said the same thing. And then the fact that they weren't broken up is just so dumb. Now that's a forced storyline. That's unfortunately a carryover from last season. Yeah, I don't even know how many times we as a fan base have to go over this. That if somebody kicks you out, you assume that's breaking up. No, it's windy here today, like 5 to 10 miles below the speed limit because my little car. Shoot, I ain't want to be flipped over. Did you see the Amazon Prime leak synopsis for season 10? No, I did not. But if you want to send it to me, I'd appreciate it. You know how it is. Go to the description box on any of my videos. You'll see links to my Twitter, Instagram. Feel free to send it my way. Does Andy have any other siblings? Not to my knowledge. I mean, keep in mind, this sister just popped out of nowhere. So I have no idea. Yeah, I agree. Paige was a character I didn't initially like. I like the actor because just like Hudson, Paige was one of those people cast where they played their role to a T. Hudson was a slime ball. Paige was kind of a bigoted, micromanaging, annoying coworker, but she played the role well. But eventually, we got the layers of her. I think people don't want to give Cheyenne that same grace because unlike Paige, she isn't quote unquote replacing one of the main characters we've known for like 9 seasons. But why am I sitting here talking back to you like you can hear me? Um, I read your comments if that helps, and I'll respond. I think Mr. Key's storyline should have been introduced in Zatima. I agree with that. I agree. But honestly, though, as long as we have a storyline that doesn't involve baby mama drama or Karen with Zach and Fatima, I'm good. So at least it's something. It and I'm not complaining, but it almost feels like the Zach and Fatima stuff has kind of been toned down because hey, they got their own show. We're going to focus on the sisters as collective. So I'm okay with it. And I'd much rather see a reduced Zach and Fatima role, but they're acting like the Zach and Fatima we know as compared to the Zach and Fatima from the past 3 seasons, where it's like, who the heck are these people? Agent Watts, Cheyenne is scheming. Yeah, you got to send me a screenshot because I haven't seen any of that stuff. If Andy goes to therapy, I really want to know why she allowed herself. Yeah, they need to like touch base on that. Like instead of introducing this sister, why not focus on some of the established lore? It has started horribly. The storylines need change. I'm sure like it used to be a show screen for help. Yeah, some people say that it's like the show is on life support. Again, I think it is too soon to make that call. I just feel like it's one of those situations where just give them time to cook. But like I said, for the past several days, they really should have wrapped up the Sabrina stuff with the main characters that we already have and then over time introduce us to Cheyenne and introduce us to Madison. That's what it feels like to me because the Cheyenne stuff that took up the bulk of the episode last night and it just felt weird. It's too soon, let it play out. Exactly. But I will say though, I just feel like the show feels congested after only 2 episodes and it feels like we're focusing on the wrong stuff. Andy and Cheyenne's father figure is the reason they don't get along, possibly. Well, yeah, 10 years is a big gap in age. We're not talking like 2 or 3 years. We're talking about a freaking decade between daughter number one and daughter number two. Yes, she did. She did say like it was karma. They were sitting in a salon, if I remember correctly, because she was talking about how she'd see other people she knew married, having kids, and stuff like that. I wonder why they didn't make Pam a main sister. I don't know. I think they really should have just had this first batch of episodes with the women dealing with the losses. Karen's gone, Sabrina possibly dead, and how do they move forward from here? Like this could have been like the gathering of the band, after the big blow up. And then maybe by the mid-season finale, we have the established sister circle, you know? But oh well. I don't like the new change with Sabrina, honestly. Eh. Even more reason that they don't get along. Possibly. I don't think they got the same dad. I something tells me they don't have the same father. The age gap does make a difference in personalities. Valerie is the main reason. Yeah, that would have been one heck of a season finale cliffhanger to have Cheyenne pop up. I get it though. When these actors have contracts, it's like, hey, they're obligated to be in such a X amount of episodes, but it just feels so jarring. Like imagine if they had the first half of this season. I know some people would still complain about dragging the story, but we just lost two main characters, and I feel like that needs to be handled with a certain level of magnitude. Like Karen is gone, Sabrina might be gone. I don't see Sabrina making it, and then we see her like in a wheelchair and whatnot forever. It just doesn't make sense to me, especially with the pacing of this show. So I just really feel like they should have. You know what? I agree with what some fans said. The opening and stuff like that, it should have been just the three women, Andy, Fatima, and Danny. So the first half of the season, you lost Karen, you lose Sabrina, and they come to grips with that. And they deal with the stuff in their own lives, like Andy with the Dr. Craze, Danny with I honestly don't know what they're doing with Danny, and then Fatima with trying to be more focused on self care, and Zach with Mr. Keys and whatnot. And then by the middle of the season, that's when you can introduce the new women, and then that's when you should update the theme song. But they just did too much too soon, and it feels. Yeah, Valerie was very disrespectful. It's one thing to just up and bring Cheyenne and say you staying with your sister, but to completely disregard Andy like that is messed up. It's just basically they're hijacking Andy's life the same way Gladys and Jeremiah did to Zach. It's like, you ain't come around in such a long time. You got your little job at the airport making some money. Now you came into some money living large. You ain't thinking about your family. That's essentially what they're doing to Andy right now. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You add Madison to the opening, and we haven't even seen her yet. And like I'm saying, we don't have to rush her first appearance, but I just feel like the first half of this season should have been like, not to make a political comparison, it's like, the first year of a president in office. What do they say? And this goes for any president. It's like, hey, you can't rush the new guy because they have to deal with the mess the last guy dealt with. It's not something that can be cleaned up within a matter of days. They need some time. So I feel like that's should have been the best way of navigating through season 10. And I feel like I might reiterate this point once I do a video talking about the first 11 episodes. The first half of this season should have been navigating, or the sisters navigating after losing two of their own. And then after that, you can introduce Cheyenne, you can introduce Madison, or better yet, you could slowly introduce them during the first half of this season, then by the end of the season make them full-fledged sisters, instead of just hey, two people are gone, we're going to throw in two more, and it's like, wait, what? So I feel like the intro should have been a mix of the posters from each season. That would have been dope. I did a YouTube short about that. I don't know when that's supposed to drop though. I think the video was something like each season should have had its own unique style. You know what? No, I don't think a mixture of posters would have worked for the final season. Final season. That's when you do something like that. I like your idea though. I was just about to say Andy and Cheyenne is giving Zach and Jeremiah. Yeah, I agree. You're taking advantage. The only difference is it's an age reversal. Well, you about the show and where it was, like Fatima, I mean, Crystal didn't have any acting experience. So Tyler said, I'm going to give you a little bit of something. And if you can take this little bit and do something with it, I'll give you more. So it's like, yeah, Crystal had to like earn her spot. But you can't deny the fact that Sisters in season 1 is not what it is in season 10. And you got to think about the fact when the show started, you had the main cast established, and Crystal was supposed to, why it feels jarring. Some people are like, oh, why did these women just get thrown into the promotionals when Crystal had to wait 2 seasons for that? There's a major difference. I think it was either 5 or 6, the one where they're all wearing the colorful dresses. Well, I mean, Fatima always felt sisters adjacent, you know? That's how I feel about it. And you know the writing is wrong when even Crystal herself has constantly verbalized that she wishes Fatima had more self-care and stuff, like give her time to herself as opposed to always trying to help and save everybody around her. So there's that aspect of it. And also that's also what worked best. Fatima was slowly integrated into the show, and that's why she's such a fan favorite, because now it's like, oh, we got these spots up for grab. I mean, you know, when people are like, why wasn't Pam introduced into the circle? Like, heck, maybe even more Reese, because you got these 2 newbies, and it's like, you know, who are you? They definitely should have not been added characters. You could have been added, but not sisters. At least not right away. Like, yeah, they could have just had this whole season be just the 3 women. Yeah, it's still called sisters, but we're slowly integrating more characters. I agree with that. Maybe if Crystal was a hot instant. Oh, I see what you're doing here. Okay. All this got me wondering, will there be a season 11 or not? I don't know, because the year just started, and typically they go ahead and film like the next season of the show during like the first half of the current season. So maybe they'll start filming around February, March. I have no idea. Maybe BET as a whole is engaging. Okay, Let's see what like the ratings and stuff like that is. I think there's going to be more than 10 seasons because Tyler signed a contract not even a year ago with BET, a new contract. So I don't think Sisters is coming to an end. It might be changing the guard, so to speak, but I don't think Sisters is ending. Yeah, like say what you will about Jordan, Tony, and Rich. At least we got to meet them in season 6 before we got to them being major players in 7. Nah, they're not going to change the name. It's going to stay Sisters. Fatima's character has always been second to another. They need to focus on Fatima. Yeah, because she's always there. It's like she had to earn her way into their good graces by doing stuff for him, and that's messed up. Valerie appeared as if she know everything about Andy's life. She literally admitted to not knowing everything and only hearing things through the grapevine or gossip at the church. Oops, sorry. Kick the table. My bad. I don't know where Michael is. In Sisters, we know in Zatima he's with his great aunt, I think, right? I forgot. The actor that plays Robin must be really busy. I don't know. I mean, yeah, he does Broadway and stuff. So invisible second bedroom. I wanted to see Karen's character go through a bad divorce. What? No, I think Zatima's going past season 5. I mean, sure, they haven't filmed season 6 yet, but they already filmed 5, so that's good. Well, Tyler said he hopes his shows all make it to like 10 seasons and he'd love to do like a Golden Sisters and a bunch of other stuff. So that's why I said, even if Sisters does end within the next couple of seasons, don't forget, like Tyler seems to have this plan about expanding Sisters. Like you got Zatima, you got Divorced Sisters. Bruh was originally a spinoff of Sisters. So there's no telling what else he's going to do. Now, will these projects be good? I don't know. But hmm. Okay, let's see. I wonder if Andy's going to take another break from work. I don't know. Like, can you like? Oh, what will Benson say? Like, because Fatima confirmed that Andy got a text from Cruz. So will Andy tell Benson? It would be so dumb if she does not. That was one of my biggest gripes about the show when Andy or another character gets some key information but holds it to themselves. I think the haves and the have-nots will come back. I think if Loving You is wrong, it just feels like Tyler has already rebooted or revived so many of his older projects that it seems inevitable. I don't know when, I don't know how he'll do it, but I feel like he will at some point. What's the missing link between Andy and Valerie's church? They aren't in the same state. I mean, it could just be a local church in the area. Remember, Aunt Myra lives in Georgia too. So it's possible the church that she's referring to is in the area. Nah, they don't need to rush Sisters. What happened to the woman who confronted Aaron? Let it go. What's her name? Jennifer. That was a long time ago. They just Aaron and Karen are gone, and so is that Jennifer chick. It's done. They just dropped that in season 6, and that was it. Yeah, because those new writers never picked that up. Plus, Aaron wasn't even in like the first half of the season 7, except for one appearance on the phone with Pam. Ruthless season 6. Oh wow, that must be interesting. It's almost like the confirmation made no sense now. Confrontation made no sense. I mean, yeah, it just felt random. No, Penelope was not listed as a returning character for this season. Trey is on Beyond the Gates, so I don't think he's in the show anymore. I could be wrong though, because season 10 was filmed. Wait, was Trey? Was Trey in season 9? I can't remember. When did Miss Lisa catch Penelope? I mean, Pam and Trey having sex in Karen's office? I think that was season 8. Yeah, I think Trey was gone after that season. If he do other spinoffs based on this show, he most likely will. I mean, this is Tyler Perry we're talking about, so he has some stuff cooking up. Tyler Perry seems to drop storylines to introduce. Well, sometimes Tyler will have things set up, but then he'll give the show to someone else and they never pick it up. So it's not entirely their faults. Maybe they didn't see any need to go into deeper, stuff with those storylines. Yeah, he's been gone since season 8. Okay, I wasn't tripping. When you did the video and turned the character, so Robin was on there. Well, that was a list of, hey, I said in the video I didn't fully know. I mean, this is what has been floating around, but I don't believe it means confirmation. Yeah, Robin doesn't need to come back this season. No, she did not blow up Andy's car. Yeah, let him be with Penelope. No, I dislike Penelope for Robin. Agree to disagree. Agree to disagree. Man. I want to be real though. I'm surprised Andy didn't give up. I mean, no, the penthouse is in her name. Never mind. Man, it feels good to have 2 videos this month, both surpassed 60,000 views. This reminds me of the good old days. I guess it isn't the channel that's the problem. It's just the fan base has shifted, you know? Yeah, time jump would have worked better, but nah. Okay, folks. Well, we had a good time up here. We had a consistent amount of people. At least it was well over 50, so I can't complain about that. Well, I posted my trailer breakdown earlier today, so make sure you check that out. I'll try to have my episode review. What's tomorrow? Friday? Yeah, I'll have my episode review up Friday or Saturday. I don't know how well it's going to do, though. I don't think it'll do as well as my episode 1 review, but hey, I hope I'm wrong because that video is now at 60,000 views. All it needs is like 3,000 more views, and it will become the second most viewed episode review for Sistas on this channel. So I can't argue with that. Valerie, Cheyenne, and Keys blew up the car. What is up with this theory about y'all? No, it was Keys, man. It was Keys. I mean, not Keys. Cruz. All right, well, have a good one, and I'll catch you in the next video.